at 1647, and I'm uploading for the interest of people with common sense and common courtesy, that have intelligence, that helps them understand the laws of the land and helps people understand what engagement and transactions and relations are all about. So some people think that there's a free lunch, a joyride, a free walk in the park, that kind of a ticket going on in this town in Tralee. People freeloading off me and not paying their way and causing very dangerous offence. Now, as I've mentioned, I have a lovely spiritual purpose. As I've said, it's brought about COVID-19. My spiritual purpose has initiated a pandemic due to individuals suffering from mental health illnesses in this community and that are still causing problems against our being of peaceful existence. Some people are only disruptive and disrespectful to other people's private lives, and they only cause problems. And unfortunately, there's an issue occurring again, not only just against the Vatican, but against world faith, I suppose, and the COVID-19 that came from unlawful detainments and unlawful care orders against my little boy. So putting my child at risk is a very dangerous crime. And as we've noticed, there are authoritarians that need to uphold the law, not to put their own children at risk, offending other people's innocent lives. So this is for the interest of the European parliamentarians that are aware of all the wrongdoings, and what wrongdoings do is when they're not corrected, it only makes problems worse and makes mountains out of molehills, and little moles in situations like this aren't really helpful. They're kind of cancerous in a society, and in Tralee there's a few pests that are really cancerous, and they are being really disruptive to my mountain property as well. They're trespassing on private property. So they've got a neurosis of the mind that's not being treated, and they have got a very dangerous debt, not only to my child, but they'll to my royal titles. So as I've mentioned, there are a few issues with these people being accommodated in Irish society. They're unwanted in Irish society. They owe money far and near, and it's not safe transacting, with people that are already quite unhealthy financially, stealing money, or circulating stolen wealth or dirty cash. So this is what's going on in this situation. So the IMF and the ECB, you're all aware that I'm of health and wealth recovery. All of that is at risk with every crime and offence that I experience. I spent 20 years laying the groundwork for health and wealth recovery. That's huge legislation. That's 2 decades, and I don't support ASBOs of mental health illnesses stealing money from me, and causing disruption to my family life. So there's an issue about accommodation. My farms in Tuberthill and Kilflynn are subject to crime. So there's an issue. I have to have my hierarchy of needs fulfilled. So there are politicians taking a salary. You're living off the legislation that came from me. You're taking credit where you aren't owed any credit. And I don't appreciate people taking credit for what they haven't earned. So the legislation, the social reform, the social justice, all of that came about with health and wealth recovery is a consequence of 2 decades of my research. That's academic. So the European Union, there's a problem being caused in Tralee. We've seen already their local politicians from their humble beginnings have forgotten where their wage packet came from, and they're not doing the country any justice. So I hope the Europeans are more ahead of the times and more progressive. I hope Europeans are aware, people speaking of first class standards and first class professional ethics, and not actually performing first class. That's really sad. That's really serious. And people taking credit, as I've said, the World Health Organization, you know what I mean? People taking credit for my research is quite dangerous, in the field of recovery, addiction, and narcotics. These people that have been of crime, offending me with crime, the crime prevention has been huge that I've initiated. So this is a big issue. It's offending any progress that has come from 2 decades of my groundwork for this to all culminate in a pandemic because of mental health issues of people that are imposing upon me and slandering my name and talking about abortion. These people have discussed abortion, and they have been making very dangerous offences against children. So anyone in support of ASBO mental illnesses like that, I hope you're aware of how unsafe it is for the children. So anyway, this is for the interest of the European Court of Human Rights. We've seen the implications of these people in society, and the European parliamentarians, you know yourselves, how dangerous it is to offend Royal Protocol. I'm Royal Protocol, and I have a hierarchy of needs, and there are politicians that have to fulfil each aspect of my hierarchy. And it's quite serious what's going on. So those people that are still offending the royal protocol of my bloodlines and my ancestors and my son and I, more crime. That's going to have a problem for the crime prevention that I've initiated. And Britain, I hope you know what I'm talking about. Brexit and the movement of citizens and everyone feeling safe at the same time is all very, important as much as the developments in engineering and whatnot. The other side of the world. But anyway, the main present point is that there's crime still occurring, and there are lazy people up in Dublin not helping where they're supposed to be helping, and they're taking where they're not being fed from. So that's the basics of it, So these are like really amateur issues, very juvenile situation, but a very worldwide matter. So those people that aren't in childhood playgrounds anymore, it might help to grow up and be adult enough to conduct yourselves properly and professionally and face the music with regard to the debts that I'm owed and the money that you're living off and where you're trespassing without my permission. So this is for the interest of those that have a hierarchy of needs of mine to be fulfilled. Any doctors using my name, as I've mentioned, that are offending Royal Protocol or COVID-19, anyone attaching themselves to any academic research that I've conducted since 2006 that has brought about COVID-19 and Brexit, unfortunately are putting themselves at risk. It's a punishable crime. So anyone offending my good name, presently or currently, are putting their little girls and boys at risk. Unlawful care orders of my royal child there from January 2017 to the present date makes everyone's child unsafe. It's just a sad time, times.